Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Moto In Depth video. Today, we're going to be talking about a pretty skeptical, different subject today. I don't care what all the Deegan's fans or anything like that. I'm a fan of Deegan. I don't care what they think or that they say. Haiden Deegan, regardless, handled this very poorly, and the press conference will get into that. Both Smith and Deegan were both in the wrong, both different times, regardless, no matter what. Basically, the breakdown of the whole incident. Both were in contention for a heat race win. Jordan was clearly faster, tried making a move in the whoops, got side to side with Deegan. Deegan ends up pinning him up. Deegan then hugs the next inside, starts a slow race, kind of engages in a cat and mouse sequence, and decides not to race forward. They kind of take the next 2 or 3 corners pretty slow. Didn't work out for Jordan. After Jordan gets outside of Deegan, pushes past him, and goes on as usual. Didn't think anything of it. Deegan then shoots up his inside, makes a pretty aggressive move. Jordan then retaliates, tried to make an overly aggressive move again. Didn't work out for him. Went down to make matters worse again. He went up, had another mishap, and nearly died, basically. Guy went flying off his bike and then had another little mishap on the Dragon's back after that. Then, to make it even worse, he didn't end up making the main from the LCQ. It's pretty crazy. Then starts the horrible part. In the press conference, Haiden handled the situation terribly. Unless there's a pact between Deegan and Jordan to see how badly Haiden can handle this for fun or a money or wager, whatever it is, or something, or the team told him to make a joke, make jokes about it, make fun of it. Whatever it was, there's no exception for the childish manner he went about the situation, how he was asked about things and whatnot, and you guys will see audio bites, you guys will see other riders' reactions to what he was saying. He was asked about the heat race. He was asked about the first question about the heat race. Jokingly said he didn't know what happened, laughed it off, said something about not remembering, something along those lines, ended up saying all that.
Can you walk us through it from your perspective, and at the end of it, being able to review and look back on it? Does it still just fall as a racing incident for you, or?
Yeah, man, I don't even know what happened. I wasn't paying attention, really. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, it was good. It was good racing, It's fun, so I don't know. Yeah, I just had some fun doing it.
It was really weird to see him laugh it off, and then, after making a joke, and then said it was good racing, It was fun. And you can't really say that when you take your teammate out. We'll get into that also as this continues to get worse for him. He asked if he talked internally about it with the team and with Jordan, and he said it's just racing. That's pretty much the main thing he kept saying was it was just racing, it was just fun, I had fun doing it, that sort of thing. But when you ask, honestly, if you're press and you ask if they went about it internally with both of them, sat them both down in the star racing, rig, you don't expect a straight answer to say, oh yeah, we did this and that. But maybe a little bit more of a mature answer would have worked, but this one isn't too bad.
Get back to the hauler. Have you guys discussed it at all internally from a team standpoint? And was there anything from management that they pointed out, or was it pretty much, have you guys even gone to that point?
Yeah, it was all cool. It's just racing.
He was asked about going wide on the start and how much confidence he had, and gave a standard answer. Could have also been a little bit more professional in that one.
The first corner, pretty aggressive with Hunter. You have zero intimidation with these guys that you're racing as a young kid, rookie year.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be dirty on the start. I just sending it, so I just ripped that first turn, and yeah.
Maybe the press would have been a little bit nicer. Maybe people would have eased up a little bit instead of gunning at him because of the childish manner he was already showing. Maybe you can exploit that. Maybe you can, get haters to hate even more. Like I said, this is not a hate video by any means. This is me just talking about the situation, my thoughts on it, and what happened, and stating what in the hell this was. Haiden was asked if he had any regrets about the heat race with no points available, no points in the heat are available. If you guys didn't know, in the heat races, there are no points available. You cannot gain or lose any points in the heat race unless you don't make it to that main event. Then you're losing points, basically. But that's besides the point. There is no points available, and he took Smith's chance away. Not fully. Smith definitely was responsible for most of that. But it was the way that it was phrased to him. He says, I think he's 5th in points. He's a little out of it. and says it was all good. He wasn't paying attention.
Thanks, Dan. Hayden, back to you. You have no regrets on that aggressive racing in a heat race with no points available and knocking your teammate out of a championship battle?
Yeah, I think he's in like fifth in points. He's a little out of it, but besides that, I mean, it was good. I don't know. I'm not sure. I wasn't really paying attention.
And Nate and Hunter's reactions were priceless, but it is bizarre that he came out and said, I think he's like fifth in the points, and then goes on to say he's a little out of it. It is wild, that answer. That answer is crazy. Nate Thrasher, under his voice, he kind of looked down and said, oh my God, like, did he really just say that? And yeah, he did. Unfortunately, he did. Then, while being asked about the next answer, while the dude was talking to him, he said, oh, here we go.
Well, a lot of people were, and that's the thing is we're just kind of wondering.
It's not exactly the best way you want to go about it. You definitely don't want to do that. That is showing attitude. That is not great whatsoever. Hunter jumps in, says some great stuff about how when men were men, there was a nice block pass. It was always praised how things were so gnarly back in the day. And then whatever.
I just wanted to point something out, which kind of it amazes me. So much of the people on social media, where everyone puts their expertise in, say, oh, the racing back in the 90s, early 2000s, like where men were men, they always talk about how gnarly it was. And then anytime a block pass or something happens now, everyone cries about it.
And how it's different nowadays when someone makes a move or mistake, it kind of like everyone's first to cry and point fingers, but it doesn't stand, and it shouldn't stand for a heat race between two teammates. To make the matters worse, Jordan Smith isn't on some Honda team anymore. He isn't on that pro circuit, Kawasaki. He's on the same team as Haiden Deegan. They race each other every week. They practice together, and to have the audacity to sit there and say he doesn't have a chance, and to say, oh, here we go, and just stuff like that, and then to kind of play the cat and mouse game, spark that. You were the one that kind of sparked that, going super tight on the inside. Like, you kind of started the whole thing in the first place, but Jordan kind of carried it out to an extent where probably not good. Haiden then says, I agree, and giggles right after Hunter said what he needed to say.
It's a bit funny how that works.
I agree.
Haiden jumps in right after him, says, I agree, and then kind of giggled. And it's definitely a nervous laugh and whatnot. We'll get into that as well. But Nate was asked about the incident, and mid-question, Haiden then started talking to Nate and laughing a lot too, like quite a bit. Nate proceeds with no comment is what he said. So
Haiden and Jordan in the heat race, did you have any comments about that? Do you kind of feel the same way Hunter does about the racing, or was there anything kind of you wanted to say?
Yeah, I don't have any comment.
Thank you.
Proper answer there by Nate for sure. Maybe didn't even hear the question, but that is besides the point. I'm here to kind of tell you guys, kind of break it down in case those of you who didn't see the press conference, didn't watch it, whatever it was. Haiden had a constant grin the whole time. To make matters worse, his family was sitting right in front of him. His family was sitting down to the left of the camera, and then that would be to his right. And he kept glancing over there with a smile. And then at one point he looks over there and then kind of like looks straight again, kind of straightened up his smile. There wasn't that dumb grin anymore. And also his nervous laughter. After everything he answered, he definitely had that ah or a funny like giggle breath sort of deal. I can't really explain it. And it was just really bizarre to see, because that is definitely a function that you're nervous or that you're doing something that isn't so normal or how you would normally go about things. And all this, the other riders' reactions are priceless during this. I mean, some of the things Haiden said had the other riders quite worried, or quite not absurd, but it was definitely an interesting matter. Anywho, that is my breakdown of the situation. Like I said, I don't hate Haiden Deegan, even though this video seems generally towards him, because he could have gone about it way more. He's still young. He's still a year older than I am. But, I mean, the way you go about certain things you can be funny, you can have comedy, you can have humor. Not like this. Something like this, I think what he did was completely uncalled for. I think that he's in the wrong with the way he went about it. But in the incident in its own, that is on your perspective. You can make your own opinions about that. Like I said, Jordan retaliated and tried to make an overly aggressive move that kind of ended it. But Haiden Deegan kind of started the sequence with the cat and mouse thing. So it is what it is. A rookie learning and a veteran that you probably don't want to be in that position. So sucks that this is a matter of speaking here. It's kind of mind blowing to think that this is a thing right now. So that'll be all for me. Thank you guys for watching. I'm not going to tell you guys to subscribe or like or anything like that. I'm sure there will be comments on this video, but that will be all for me. I'll see you guys next time.